How's it going so far? Good? Yeah? I'm the last one, you know. All right. Michal, thank you. Thank you, Michal. Werner Winch is a mathematician, retired mathematician. He's also a computer scientist and is a science fiction author. What he's talking about here is actually very real, even though for some of you, some of us, it might sound like science fiction. What he's talking about is the consequences of something that us in the tech industry we call exponential innovation. I don't know if you've noticed, but technology is going faster and faster and faster. Look at the phone you have in your pocket, compare it with the phone you had 5 years ago, and then compare it with the phone that you had 10 years ago. I'm not talking about the phone you had 15 years ago, it was a brick. The trends which are happening right now and the fact that the computer and the machines are becoming more and more smarter and smarter, is due to two major technical changes, which we call big data, which is about collecting a lot of data, and what we also call machine learning. And machine learning is using big data to reproduce what we, humans, are doing. Machine learning is based on a technology. When you program a computer, you have to plan everything, every single possibility, because if you don't, the computer is going to crash. And I'm sure you've seen program crashings. It's called a bug. In machine learning, you don't plan anything at all. You set up some kind of topology. I'm not going to be too technical, don't worry. And you give the computer some example. For example, you show a computer pictures of a cat, and you say to the computer, this is a cat, this is a cat, this is a cat, this is a cat, this is a cat. And then the computer learns, oh, that's a cat, that's a cat, that's a cat. And then you show him new pictures, and the computer goes, oh, that's a cat, I know, I recognize a cat. Oh, no, that's not a cat. This is how it works. This man, this is a picture from last March, it's very recent, is the world champion of Go. Go. I don't know if you know Go, but you probably know chess. Go is like chess, but it's like a super duper bigger chess in terms of possible combinations. In fact, there are more combinations in Go, possible combinations, than there are atoms in the universe. Which means you cannot plan every single possible combination of a program of Go if you were to write a software that plays Go, unless you use machine learning. Lee Sedol fought last March against a computer program called AlphaGo. AlphaGo learned on its own how to play Go by looking at a lot of match of Go, and then, to the surprise of the whole scientific community, but also the whole world, he lost against AlphaGo. Lee Sedol lost against AlphaGo. We thought we were 10 years away from this happening. But it's happening now. And it's happening faster and faster. Think about your phone. What does it mean for our work? Well, as you know, there are kind of 4 categories of jobs. You have the manual and routine jobs, and you have the non-manual, cognitive, and non-routine jobs. So up until today, we had the manual and routine jobs covered by the machine. You know, the tractors and all this the machine that paints cars for you, very boring job. And we thought we were fine. But the bad news is that now, and AlphaGo proved us that 6 months ago, the machine can now take our cognitive and non-routine jobs. Silence in the room. Do you think I'm kidding, right? I would like to introduce you to Amelia. She's a call center operator. She's the result of 16 years of research in artificial intelligence and machine learning. She can learn in seconds what you will take months to learn. And she can do it in 20 languages. She can do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When she was introduced to a company after the first week of learning, which basically is listening to the real man, the human, she was able to handle 1 call out of 10. All right, not great. 2 months later, she was able to handle 6 calls out of 10. And she's still learning and learning and learning every day, and she's getting better and better every day. It's estimated that she will put 250 million people out of work. But it's not just the call center operator. I think you can see that if you look at all the studies nowadays, it is predicted that within 10 to 20 years, between 50% and 80% of the job that we perform in a company can be replaced by a machine. Sébastien was saying, maybe in 10 years someone's going to go on stage and talk about machine taking over and what do we do? Here you go, I'm here 10 years earlier. Sorry, I'm a bit early. So you can see those numbers here. Some kind of work are more dangerous than others. But it's a reality. So what do we do? What do we do when in 10 years only maybe 30 of you will have a job, and all the others will not have a job because the machine can do your job better than you? So there's an idea here, which is just to give people money. It's not a new idea. It's an idea that was actually implemented in the 6th century. The first caliph gave every single member of a family, man, woman, and children, 10 dirham. And later, he increased that to 20 dirham. So it's not a new idea, and it's called the universal basic income. And since I'm here, I would like to advocate on completely renaming that, because it's quite a boring name, and I would propose to call it that the universal happiness income. Because the idea is to give every single one of you a basic lump of money to cover your basic needs. You're not going to go, traveling around the world. It's only to cover your basic needs, your rent and your food. And the moment that you no longer have to worry about feeding your family, the moment where you no longer have to worry about taking a job because you need the money to survive, you will be in a position where you can actually choose the job that you want. And when you do what you want, you're happy. That's the secret. Thomas Paine, for those of you who don't know him, he's an English-American philosopher, activist, politician. He's also a revolutionary. And he's one of the founding fathers of the United States of America. His idea was in the 16th century to give everybody enough money so they can buy a piece of land and a cow and start their life. But that was in the 16th century. So the whole concept now is to say there is such a risk of people living in chronic uncertainty, chronic economic uncertainty, that we should really, really address that now before it's too late, and maybe give the people the option to choose the life they want to have rather than being forced to do something they probably maybe don't want to do just because they need to feed their family. There's been, so people say, well, wait a minute, you're a communist. I'm not. And if you give money to everybody just like that, they're just going to take drugs and go drunk. Well, some might, probably for a few weeks and then got tired of it. But this is a survey, it's a little survey, a little sample, about 8,000 people. And as you can see, half of them which actually stay at work because they love what they do and they're probably happy at work. Only 300 of them were keep their job, and only 93 of them would stop looking for a job. So it's not like if you give money for nothing, people just, abuse the system. There's some studies that show that if you choose what you do, you'll be probably better at it and you will be more productive. One of the best examples is they took a group of people and they said, yes, here's a few puzzles, 3 to 5 puzzles, and choose a puzzle and do the puzzle. And people on average spend about 5 minutes trying to solve the puzzle. Then 5 minutes, right? And then they took another group of people and they say, here's a few puzzles. You're free to do the puzzle or just to not do it, walk away. This group, who was given the choice, spent 7 minutes playing with those puzzles or trying to figure out the puzzles. If you definitely decide what you want to do, you're going to spend more time doing it and you're going to be probably more passionate about this. These countries in red are all the countries in the world who are currently either implementing test pilots for the universal happiness income, or they are discussing the possibility in Parliament. Last June, Switzerland had a referendum on the topic. I don't know if you followed that. They voted against. They said no. But it's Switzerland. It's a lot of poor people, right? In Finland, they are going to give 1,000 people about €1,000 and see what's happening. In the Netherlands, in Holland, we say in French. In Holland, they're going to they selected 10 cities and they're going to run pilots and just give them money and see what's happening. The reason why there's so much discussion nowadays about this topic is mostly because the Silicon Valley is pushing for it, because of the exponential innovation I was telling you about earlier. One of the reasons why people are pushing for it is because it's simple and transparent. The thing is, we already give money to people for free. We already have welfare systems, right? But these systems are complicated. They're actually extremely expensive. So the solution is to say, let's just get rid of all this and let's just give everybody the same amount and they can do whatever they want. It's transparent, it's simple, it's actually cheaper. And it's also, philosophically speaking, a question of freedom. What is your personal freedom? What is your political freedom? What is your freedom of speech? What is your any kind of freedom if you do not have the economic freedom? If you have to wake up every morning and worrying about meeting the end of the month. That is not freedom. So people are saying that a universal happiness income or basic income is a basic human right. Let's give you some example of some of the pilots that have been running because the results are absolutely amazing. So Namibia is a country southwest of Africa, very poor country, but they gave money to some of those villages. And this is the kind of numbers that they saw. Crime just dropped by 36%. But more importantly, more interesting for me, I think, the net income revenue of the family increased by 29% without counting the money they were given. So what does it mean? That it means that they actually started to create their own businesses and they started to make more money than they had before. Another country is India, obviously also a poor country, where they had some very, very interesting results. This has been going on since 2011 in some of those villages. Kids are going back to school, spending more time in school. People are actually saving money for the older days. And the number of new businesses doubled. So I think we're not lazy in nature. And if you give people money, they actually seize the opportunity because there's no longer the risk of failing. And being an entrepreneur for 20 years, I know what it means to be scared to fail. So we remove all that issue. In the US, they are about to start a pilot. It's actually a private pilot. They're going to give 100 families in Auckland $1,000 and see what happens. And see what happens for these people. So that's how do we pay for it? Just to give you an example, if we were to give a universal basic income to every single US citizen, it would cost $3 trillion. $3 trillion. Their existing welfare system cost 1.7 trillion. So if you remove those and replace it by this new model, you already have 1.5 trillion. So you only need to find another $1.5 trillion. I'm not going to talk about the budget of defense and army because there's money there, but they probably don't want to touch it. But you will, if you put a land tax, that would be enough to cover the universal basic income. If you put a VAT system in place by about 10%, you can also cover this. And not talking about the businesses, the companies who are producing those robots which are going to replace us, they could also have a tax, a corporate tax. A lot of people are pushing for this. In fact, a lot of Nobel Prize of Economy are joining the cause and pushing for such a solution. Also people like Tim Berners-Lee, the founder of the World Wide Web, also the CEO of Deutsche Telekom, not every single, but a lot of CEO from the Silicon Valley. If you talk to them, they're going to tell you that it's inevitable. Inevitable is the word that they are using. So we won't know until we try. That is basically the basic, and we're already doing it in a welfare system. Some people are trying to cheat that system as well, and I'm sure you know about that. So let's make it very simple, very transparent. There is a new reality. The technology is going faster. Machines are going to take your job. So what do we do? What do we do about it? What is the goal of building such technology? Is it to make us work for more hours for less money? Or is it to give us the opportunity to choose what we want to do and probably be happy because we've chosen the type of work we're doing? So I just want to leave you with a final thought, probably a science fiction thought, but again, why are we doing it? And what kind of future are we building for us and our children? Thank you.